I almost said Sagittarius, Aquarius. I have to stop shuffling because y'all are letting too many cards come out. But with this here at the root of it all, Queen of Swords and the Star, this is about you, right? Which technically every reading is about us, but it's really easy to apply it to people in our life or scenarios in our life. And we kind of sometimes lose touch with the fact that at the end of the day, every message that comes through, every insight that we receive, every inclination that we get, ultimately is talking to us about our inner being, our higher self, and walking a path that brings us not only personal fulfillment and satisfaction, but peace and alignment, right? So I feel like this month is forcing you to go through things that are going to renew your faith, not only in your higher power, right? This is a Sagittarius theme, but in yourself. And in order to believe in yourself, you have to not only be yourself, right? And let your innate gifts and innate personality traits shine, but also be willing to reflect on the parts of yourself that don't always serve you, right? Meaning, sometimes we get a feeling or we get in a vibe, right? Or we get in a mood where we don't want to express the highest form of our personality. And that doesn't make us a bad person, but it doesn't always serve our highest good. Out the gate first, you have the 10 of Wands with the 5 of Wands. And any type of quarreling you've been doing, any type of inner struggle you've been having, if you have a lot of people that have access to your energy, if your work environment is kind of combative or high strung or high tension, I feel like that is the main source of the stress in your life. Anywhere that you're having an issue feeling grounded, right, with the 5 of Wands, because the 5 of Wands is competition. So if you're in a position right now where you're having to compete, or people are competing for your attention or your validation in some capacity, right? It could go either way. I feel like that is the main source of your overwhelm. And life is not overall intended to be an uphill battle. So if this is, I feel like this is business or this is personal. Personal meaning like you're having an existential type of crisis with yourself on what to do, especially potentially who to date or what offers you want to extend to others. This can even be invitations because it is the holiday season. Like you may be going back and forth with yourself about, you know, do you want to entertain all these different types of people over the holidays, right? Or if anyone suits your fancy on a sexual level. With the Devil here and the Page of Pentacles, I feel like if you've been triggered this month or you're going to be triggered in December, it is a learning opportunity, right? So if you feel like you're getting in your bag, if you will, or getting into that mode where you're like, oh, you're not going to like Aquarius when I get into this vibe, like that kind of thing. Like, you know, every sign, every person has that side of themselves that's kind of savage and that's kind of like, you know, doesn't necessarily put us in the best light. And it feels good on an instant gratification level. That's what the Devil is good for. The Devil is good for instant gratification. But I feel like there's something to learn about your urges to be very carnal and geared towards instant satisfaction, whether it be on a sexual level, whether it be on like a food and pleasure level on that way, or anything like that. But there's something to learn. So pay attention to the situations that trigger you or bring up feelings of doing things that are for that instant grab and that only serve you in that immediate moment, and they don't have any purpose outside of that. Because I feel like what you're going to step into after that is justice with the 6 of Pentacles, which is understanding how feeding into this ultimately will come back to you in some way. I feel like this is your new understanding of the quote karmic wheel. During this reading as well, like over the time this reading covers, Venus will exit Libra again for the final time for the next year and a half, 2 years. And I feel like this is the solidification of where you're at right now, especially in what you can offer people and what people have to offer you. Some things you're going to realize are more trouble than they're worth, and other things that you thought were going to be too much trouble or too much effort, in reality really aren't, because they pay back a lot. But I feel like it's going to require you to not be so savage, I feel like, and believe in yourself and in people, I feel like, a little bit more. All right, Aquarius, just like in the beginning, at the root of everything, this is about you, King of Swords, okay? This is about you. This is about you making very definitive decisions with a clear head. I don't think that you have that clear head yet, but it is coming. There are so many cards here that are saying a couple things. One, mum is the word. Two, only you have the answers. Three, when you unleash that answer, it is going to be final. It's going to be very final, like case closed once you drop that hammer. Also, if you're involved in any type of business, or if you launched a business, or you have some type of project that started as a side hustle or whatever, and you have no intention on claiming it on your taxes, like I would like reconsider that. Like if you have a business that's been doing, getting a lot of clout and recognition, but you didn't like study the laws for that, I would do that. Okay. Not saying that like the law is coming for you like tomorrow, but I feel like it's important to have all your ducks in a row. This is that kind of energy where you don't got to get ready if you stay ready, that type of energy. But the Five of Wands reappeared, as did the Page of Pentacles, and the Five of Wands came back in the heart space. So obviously there is a unsettled energy emotionally, meaning I feel like you guys don't know where to invest your emotional wellspring. Meaning, I feel like there's conflicting energies around what will lead you to success. And because I feel like more than ever you're involving yourself in projects and things that, just overall wanting a lifestyle that is more heart-centered, meaning more soul-centered. So I feel like it's throwing you off because you're looking to make a logical decision. But when you're following your intuition, when you're following Spirit's call, it's not always about logic, So that is really where you're struggling this month. This isn't like an actual struggle where people are messing with you or whatever. I just feel like you're having an internal struggle about what is, quote, like best for you, what makes sense, and what doesn't. The overall energy is the Nine of Pentacles. So for a lot of you, this definitely, like I said, could go towards self-employment or what you need to do to achieve or put yourself in a position where you can launch that business. What you need to change to identify yourself as an entrepreneur, feeling independent and just overall good about yourself. Because we can have all the money in the world and the good job and the status or whatever, but if we don't feel valuable or understand how to put our value to use, it's going to be kind of difficult. But I also feel like you're feeling really good and you're getting like a healthy amount of attention this month, that in a way that you can really see and feel and taste. And that may be a little bit different to you. Like I feel like you're used to the words, or you're used to like the idea of that kind of attention, or the idea of that kind of independence. But to really have it and feel it and touch it and know that it's real, is a little different. The energy that you're being initiated into is strategy. So again, I feel like this King of Swords, his sword feels like this quill pen to me. And the lock and key at the top of this card feels like the High Priestess. And there are things, again, there are conclusions that you're coming to, decisions that you're making that are going to be under, quote, lock and key for a while. For some of you, I really feel like this has nothing to do with people that are in relationships. I have to stress that. If you're single and you have the opportunity to like have your cake and eat it too, meaning like be with somebody that's kind of taboo, or you know, like where like if you explain it to other people, they'd be like you're nuts, or they would like rat you out in some way. Like I don't know. That's just the vibe that I'm getting. You have the opportunity to do it and get away with it this month. Okay, I have to tell you that. And this isn't like ruining someone's marriage type of business. This is not what that is. It's just like you have the ability to really fly under the radar. But you're definitely not telling people how you feel this month, because you know, or expressing like acts of devotion or anything like that. This is more around like you settling yourself so that going into the new year, you're moving like a well-oiled machine. What you're being asked to release, we have the Page of Pentacles with the rune Success and the Knight of Swords. So especially if you are, let's say, in, again, either have launched a business or do some type of side hustle thing, or let's say you're underemployed, not because necessarily you don't have a good job, but like you haven't gotten a raise in a while, or you could go for a promotion, but you don't, that kind of stuff. I feel like Spirit is saying, stop trying to fly under the radar and like live below your potential. Because the Page of Pentacles with Success is saying that you've already planted enough seeds and done enough learning. Now is the time to really tend to your crops and actively like work the farm. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going from the Page into the Queen. And when you work with earth energy, it's not quite like fire, like the activity of fire, but it's a very steady, long-term action, right? And you have primarily like a lot of anchor cards being in earth. And if you're not, and I feel like this is where you meet the other person, where the way that you speak and the way that you understand your mind meets practicality and meets the way you connect with other people. And even business requires another person, right? Because you can't do business without selling to somebody or having a product that would serve somebody. So with the Knight of Swords here as well, if you like launch something, or like let's say you put your resume out there, but like you never like you tried one time and never did it again, I feel like Spirit's saying keep up the pace. You're getting initiated into something that you can't just throw a log on the fire one time and then let the fire burn out. You have to continuously kindle and you know, keep the flame going. I feel like you're being initiated into a time where you have to live with a lot more consistency, and but not in a monotonous way, because the Knight of Swords, I feel like, is like blurting. Like I feel like blurting or being like blah, like maybe like this could be like mouth vomit type of thing, like word vomit. Because I feel like there was some level of success or something that you tried that was fleeting, that came and went really quickly. And you're like, well, that was it. Okay. And this could be like you know, started dating somebody, it ended really quick. But with the energy of strategy going as the overall theme and the Nine of Pentacles here, this is about knowing your worth. And when you know your worth, you act accordingly. And I feel like, you know, on some level, you're being pushed to mature this month and really live true to yourself. Because again, the energy, the door that was once closed that's now open is the Queen of Pentacles with the Nine of Cups. And on the Nine of Cups, we have the rune Self. So this just mirrors the message that it's your job to put in the work to achieve your own emotional desires, right? Or your own fulfillment. This is a wish come true card, right? It's a lower octave of the star, so which is your card. So if you want to feel satisfied, if you want to feel fulfilled, if you want to feel content, like, you know, this guy is kind of like chubby, he's got all these cups behind him. This is the energy of like after a good meal, or after some, you know, like a really good glass of bourbon or wine, or whatever your fix is, whatever makes you feel like, that was so good. After some great sex, like whatever the case is, this is when you sit back and realize that you have to put in that work. Because I feel like you're used to being able to just like throw a little gas in the fire and that's enough. And Spirit's saying you can't do gas in the fire this time. You have to actually man the fire and stoke it. And I feel like you'll get a lot more pleasure out of that, because the Nine of Cups is a pleasure card too, and so is this. And I feel like they're working in tandem to show you, because the Queen of Pentacles, I don't really feel is another person. It could be, you know, it could be an earth sign that you've been really wanting to get. But with the rune self here, I don't really feel like that's the case. I feel like this is about understanding how to put your skills to work and to, again, just kind of whittling away at the day-to-day. And if your life has become monotonous in any kind of capacity, whether it be at work or at home, if things have gotten stale, and you have felt very disconnected from them, I feel like this is saying that if you mix up your routine and do the things that you're good at that bring you value or add value to your life, add enrichment to your life. This could be deciding to go back to school or just read books. Like you're going to challenge yourself to read XYZ amount of books or whatever. That's where the joy is, because the joy that you've been seeking, the pleasure you've been seeking can be found within your own efforts. Your current energy as it relates to all of this. In your head, we have the High Priestess. In your heart, the Five of Wands with the rune Luck. And in your foundation, we have the King of Swords. So at the end of the day, you're always going to be you, right? You're always going to be the person that's able to think clearly, the person that's able to cut out all the BS before they make a decision, the person that's able to see above the fray, right? But you still have the ability to evolve and to change into kind of in a chameleon manner if you wanted to, right? You can adapt. And that level of mental, like astuteness is totally not a word, but that mental aptitude, there you go, I feel like that's better, that you have gives you an upper hand. So I feel like you need to use it. This also may be something that maybe you went to school for, or you've trained for, but you didn't necessarily want to put to work. And again, with strategy, it's important to start focusing on the long term. You know, your birthday is coming up. You know, it seems like far away now, but it's not. And obviously 2019 is coming up. So it's going to be important for you to really get clear on what matters. Because I also feel like if you stay rooted in the same old thing, even though it comes easy to you, you're going to end up getting bored again. So you might as well start carving out that 5-year plan. You know what I mean? Because with the Five of Wands in your heart space with the rune Luck, I feel like you're conflicted about whether, like, what you can and cannot be successful at. And I don't think you've ever done something that brought you an immense amount of pleasure and satisfaction, like on a soul level, like made you feel like a good person, made you feel free, made you feel innovative, made you feel like your best self. And, you know, got paid for it and was successful and whatever. It's always been like, well, I just do what's easy or I do what's smart, right? Like what's on paper is smart. And, you know, don't give too much of your energy to this wrestle that you have with yourself. But I feel like it's also important to not talk yourself out of any of it. I feel like you need to sit with it in kind of like a meditative state and write down how you can make it an achievable plan. Because with the High Priestess in your head, I feel like you're opening yourself up to intuition that you previously had not really known how to decipher. Because the High Priestess is a very still type of energy. It's an energy of perception. And it allows, this is like when you allow information to permeate you. That doesn't necessarily make sense on a logical scale or on a mental scale, in a way that you can study per se. It's something that you're initiated into, that you're kind of thrown into, and you have to find, you know, feel your way through it. So if you're being guided to try things that are different than what you're used to, and you're not really sure how it would work out in the grand scheme of things, definitely don't be afraid to meditate, or just try a quote unconventional method of tapping into that energy. I feel like being unconventional and really embracing your Uranus ruler will be beneficial to you at this time, especially when crafting a long-term plan. Like, you know, when you're crafting your plan, think, expect the unexpected, do the impossible. in Spirit's advice on how to navigate this energy, we do have the Ace of Swords with the Ace of Pentacles, which is bomb. Mind you, though, when this card popped out, it flipped over in the pile, and then like a huge stack of cards fell out. So I feel like the clarity is going to come, at least I feel like 3 weeks to 3 months before the physical proof of it all comes. On the Ace of Pentacles, we do have the rune victory, though. So don't give up. I feel like it's going to be important that you keep that mentality that you made the appropriate decision, that you sat with all this information, you made the decision. So once you make the decision, stick to the plan. Stick to the plan. I feel like that's going to be important because there may be naysayers or people that are like, oh, Aquarius, you shouldn't have done that. Look, it's not even giving you any money. This feeds into this. This hand feeds into this hand. So if all of a sudden someone, decides to invest in you or gives you some type of seed money, or you finally get that job that you've been looking for on the internet or sending your resumes out to, it finally all clicks, don't give up. Because you have a real chance here. Like, you may be struggling now on what to do, but you will get clear by the end of the month. And even though it's going to take time to see that physical opportunity, like, you'll know it and you'll recognize it instantly. But it may take time to find that physical opportunity. But when you do, you will absolutely be successful. Going into January, we have the Page of Wands with the rune Future and the Seven of Swords in Justice. So, okay. If you have some type of idea that is like insanely inventive, and I would look at patenting or trademarking, okay? And again, look up your local business laws if any of that kind of stuff applies to you. Like, make sure you have the right licenses if you're going to start selling something or teaching something or whatever. That's not to say you haven't even begun to do that, but this is for people that are already actively working on that project. I feel like it's going to be important that you do that because, January is tax, we start tax season. And I just don't want you to get caught slipping. Like, make sure you have all your ducks in a row. Because with the Page of Wands here, this is things that would affect you down the road. So it's not even like it necessarily would affect you this year. It would be like next year. So you want to have all your stuff together, okay? The Page of Wands with Future as well is I feel like you're going to finally not be so afraid to build a future based on what in your mind or in your soul feels like kind of like a silly childlike whim, like just a little passion project or just a little inclination, because the Page of Wands is exciting and he is aware that he doesn't know too much, but he feels it and he's in it, you know what I mean? And when I say feel, I mean like it's a resonance through his body. He's ready to just engage in stuff that is exciting and live a life that is much more bold than what he's been living. And with the Seven of Swords and the Justice card together, I feel like this is saying that sometimes we have to just do what's best for us and not be so worried about what looks good or what is considered fair or what is considered just. Because yes, justice talks about things being, turning out in your favor, and they talk about things being even and equal and in good, universal harmony and all that, and that's fine and dandy. But with the Seven of Swords, one, like I said, I've already said the things that the caveats of like, make sure you're protecting yourself, especially whatever you go into, make sure you're protecting yourself and your assets and things like that. But aside from that, I feel like the Seven of Swords is saying that you can't live your life by some, like, it almost feels like a tit for tat scale. Like, I'll move when they move, or I'll move when I find the perfect time, or when it's the perfect experience, or when it's the perfect situation. I feel like the Seven of Swords is saying, take what you got and get it done. Because the Seven of Swords, I don't know if I told you guys this, I told some sign this. Back in October, got the Seven of Swords from a friend. She pulled a card for me when I asked how I should handle this situation that was happening in my professional life outside of this here. And I was like, well, that's weird. I'm like, I've never seen the Seven of Swords advice like that. And they basically advised me to take care of my own interests and then handle the professional back end after. And I didn't actually deceive anybody. I just put my interests first. So I feel like it's important that you not so much worry about what's right and what's wrong to people or how people are going to perceive your actions. I feel like it's important that you just move how you need to move, especially when it comes to, this could even be, this even could be sexual. But I feel like it's important that you move how you need to move and then answer questions later if they even come up, because I feel like they might not even come up. But I'll be interested to see how this comes out in the mid-month reading. All that's in the description box below. For those of you that have checked my site before, I'm not like other readers. I don't do the extended right now. I let a little time pass so that the energies can start to shift and permeate. Also, now's a great time for a year ahead reading. If you go in the description box again, you can book one of those with me. All right? Love you guys. Peace.